Didn't I say a couple of months ago that NOM, the National Organization for Marriage, is nothing but a fake organization, a front group for the Vatican and certain big mega corporate interests? The reason why NOM exists, and I stated this before, is because it is there to distract the masses, to distract those that call themselves conservatives, social conservatives, religious types, that going after gay people will preserve the marriage definition, will preserve the family, even though CPS runs around and they kidnap kids, even though there are federal regulations that make it harder now than ever before to raise a family, even though the education system has told kids that their parents are evil, that their parents are stupid and don't trust your parents. And the destruction of the family is not going to come from gay people, but it's going to come from the same institutions that we supposedly trusted. And I said this numerous times, NOM is not a real organization. And now, a defector who used to work for NOM now has come out and stated the obvious. This is according to The Advocate magazine, the advocate.com website. And The Advocate doesn't really want to go as far as to tell you why this is important. They're going to tell you this is important because NOM is an anti-gay organization, but it's not anti-gay. Okay, and I'll explain to you why, like I've already done in the past. But here in The Advocate it says, Louis Marinelli, the former National Organization for Marriage tour director, who announced his opposition this month, said President Brian Brown directed him to make rival LGBT campaigners look as crazy as possible, even when that required distortion of the facts. Marinelli writes about the experience on his blog, where he said that NOM President Brown instructed him to specifically take crazy photos of gays and lesbians, with one email from July last year that said, quote, "I need crazy pictures of our opponents." According to Marinelli, the National Organization for Marriage's culture war crusade against same-sex marriage is all about image. That's the key here, image. And when it comes to the image of the LGBT community, it's all about painting them in a negative way. That is why during the Summer for Marriage tour, a project of my doing, which I organized with NOM last year, each of the rallies was presented in a good versus evil type theme, says Marinelli. As one example of distortion, he recalls silent counter-protesters at a NOM rally in Albany, New York. The NOM blog described their quiet opposition as intolerant, inconsiderate bullies who shut down and insult anyone who disagrees with them, including women and children. In Marinelli's view, the deception makes NOM worthy of classification as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which applies the label to the Family Research Council and the American Family Association because of their misrepresentation of facts. Southern Poverty Law Center does not list NOM among the hate groups this year, but Marinelli called that a mistake. Now, here's the thing. No doubt that the National Organization for Marriage is nothing but a BS organization, just like every other organization out there, the Human Rights Campaign, GLAAD, Family Research Council, the Southern Poverty Law Center, because they all are backed by big corporate interests. Southern Poverty Law Center is supported by the Rothschilds, by the Rockefeller Foundation, and so is the National Organization for Marriage. They are supported by the same Rothschilds, by the same big banks. Citibank also donated a lot of money and laundered money for NOM, which has been reported lately, and nobody wants to talk about that because Citibank is a pro-gay bank. All the banks are pro-gay, right? because the banks were the ones that created this economic crisis. They were the ones that looted our country, raped our treasury, and the best thing that Americans can do is debate about gay marriage. So this is the reason why NOM exists. And this is one thing that advocate will not tell you, because if they tell you, then the whole game is over. It's over for both sides. For the advocate at all and NOM at all. Okay? This whole left wing versus right wing, gay versus straight paradigm is all going to fall down, and it's going to crumble if it's revealed that the entire debate of gay marriage is nothing but a farce, which it is. And that's one thing that you're not going to read from this magazine, from this article. One thing they're not going to tell you is, why is this happening? Well, the reason is because they're anti-gay. But, I mean, that's so simpleton. A lot of people are anti-gay, but they don't go out and form organizations that funnel millions of dollars in 1 year. They don't do that. How can Brian Brown, Maggie Gallagher, how can these Muppets with little education, no talent whatsoever, write a couple of articles here, reports here, in one book? How can that make you run a multi-million-dollar organization? Because you're a puppet, and you're going to do what your corporate masters tell you to do. Okay, Brian Brown? Okay, Joe Salmonese? Because this is what it's all about. It's all this fake show, this WWE wrestling entertainment type distraction that we're witnessing. And it's all about distracting the American people. It has nothing to do with regards to your marriage, your love, because believe me, marriage today in the eyes of law has nothing to do with love. It's all about money, banking, and corporate law. That's all it is. Marriage is an illusion. As far as the one that the one we're debating about, the legal marriage, the corporate marriage that's been created by the government. The real marriage, the natural marriage, where you fall in love with somebody, that is a whole different story. And the government cannot legislate who you love. It cannot legislate how you're going to love. And certainly cannot legislate if you really love somebody. Yet we can now. All of a sudden, we can now legislate who you can love. I mean, that is so ridiculous. And if anybody, liberal or conservative, can actually think like that, through the proxy of this so-called marriage license, of this license to marry and have a family, this whole notion is just so bizarre that people on both sides can believe on this, and they fight over this issue. They give power and credulity to the big courts, to the big government, to the bureaucrats and the four-eyed geeks in the clerk's office who issue these pieces of paper called marriage licenses. And if we give them power, and if we give the political class power, guess what's going to happen? The political class will abuse that power, and they have already. They're going to abuse it and exploit it. That's why they have raped our treasury and looted our country trillions of dollars. And this has been going on since 2008. 2008, what happened? Obama got elected and Prop 8 was voted in. Let's not forget Prop 8. And, you know, while everybody was distracted over Prop 8 in the media, Bernanke and Henry Paulson, they were able to get a blank check and give them to their rich, corrupted Wall Street criminal friends. That's what happened. And, yeah, but hey, we have to stop the gays from getting married. Oh no, we have to fight the Mormons from taking away our marriages, like if they can do that. How can anybody take away your love for somebody? I mean, that's just so ridiculous. If you give the government that much power to legislate over your life, I mean, you're just a pathetic person. You are a pathetic person. And if you think that government can define marriage so easily. I mean, it's just so pathetic that we can, afford to give up so much power to the government and say, yes, government, yes, bureaucrat, yes, judge, yes, politician, yes, 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 legislate and define marriage for us, because we can't. We're too, I don't know, childish. And then they go on these little campaigns to get amendments passed, and it's all a farce. It's all just to distract the people. It's all to get people to get out there, vote for certain candidates, which they did with Bush. I mean, it's all a scam. The whole enchilada reeks. And nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to talk about equality and family and all this stuff, which is fine. But equality comes from our humanity. Family comes from our humanity. Our existence doesn't come from government. But a lot of people believe that government is the be-all of everything. The end-all, be-all. And that's why we cannot progress.